It's been a week of huge news in the investigation of Trump campaign's contacts with Russia. I think we can all agree this is the new normal. But nothing tops the bombshell report that the U.S. president himself, the U.S. president, is under investigation for possible obstruction of justice. But there were some other important developments that we don't want to lose sight of, that we want to share with you as we continue to track this story for you. So let me give you a quick recap. So the week started with speculation that Mr. Trump was considering, this is just speculation, but that he was considering firing special counsel Robert Mueller, who's overseeing the investigation. Technically, that decision would have to come from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, and he told a congressional hearing that he sees no good cause. Take a listen.
I'm not going to follow any orders unless I believe those are lawful and appropriate orders. Under the regulation, Special Counsel Mueller may be fired only for good cause, and I am required to put that cause in writing. If there were a good cause, I would consider it. If there were not good cause, it wouldn't matter to me what anybody says.
Thank you, Attorney General.
All right, so that was Monday, but on Tuesday, more high drama on Capitol Hill. Attorney General Jeff Sessions angrily denied any suggestions that he colluded with Russia, but he refused to talk about his conversations with Mr. Trump concerning the firing of FBI Director James Comey. Senate investigators also repeatedly heard this.
It's conceivable that occurred. I just don't remember it, but I still do not recall it. Not to my recollection. I don't have any recollection of even knowing he would be there, so I don't recall that. I don't recall any such conversation. I don't recall it, Senator. I do not recall any of those individuals.
On Thursday, the Senate nearly unanimously passed a bill that would slap Russia with new sanctions. It would also give Congress the power to review any White House attempts to roll them back. The bill now goes to the House. Also that day, we found out that Vice President Mike Pence has hired outside legal counsel to answer any questions related to the Russia investigation, and he said that it's actually very routine. And finally, an unexpected offer from Vladimir Putin. The Russian president talked about James Comey in his annual televised call-in show. He compared the fired FBI director to a well-known leaker of U.S. intelligence secrets.
What
makes the FBI director different from Mr. Snowden, then? It seems to me that in this case, he's not so much the head of the FBI as an activist with his own particular point of view. By the way, if he faces some sort of prosecution for this, we're prepared to give him political asylum too. He should know that.
All right, there is so much to discuss here. I want to bring in CNN contributor Norm Eisen, former U.S. ambassador to the Czech Republic and currently a fellow in governance at the Brookings Institution. So, Norm, thank you so much for being with us, Ambassador Eisen. So right now, just from your perspective, what is the most compelling argument that Trump committed obstruction of justice?
Zane, thanks for having me. And the most compelling argument that Donald Trump has committed obstruction of justice is nobody really doubts that he demanded a loyalty pledge from Jim Comey, that he asked Jim Comey, can you see your way clear to letting Flynn go, essentially ordered him to let Flynn go, and that he fired Jim Comey when Comey wouldn't do it. That makes up a pattern of obstruction of justice under U.S. law, corruptly attempting, in order to help a friend, maybe to help himself, interfere with an investigation. And that pattern argument, when you connect the dots, that is the strongest, the most compelling argument of a prima facie case, that there's an initial case of obstruction of justice. Now we need to dig in and see if the case can be developed or not.
Right. So when, as you know, Robert Mueller begins and conducts his investigation, how does he then go beyond the sort of he said, she said? How does he actually dig deeper?
Well, I know Bob Mueller. I was adverse to him when I was practicing myself as a white-collar defense lawyer, and then I worked with him when I was in the government on investigations, and I can tell you exactly how he's going to do this. It is not a he said, she said. I know some think of it that way. It's a mosaic. He is going to be looking for all of the pieces of evidence. For example, this week we also had news that he's reaching out to speak to other figures who Donald Trump in the government may have asked to quash this investigation. The DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, Mr. Coates, Admiral Rogers, another intelligence chief. And it's by assembling those little pieces of the puzzle. And Zain, I'll tell you the most important piece of the mosaic, and it hasn't gotten enough attention this week, motivation. What reason could Donald Trump have had? What are the real financial connections that he may or may not have had with Russia? Those are still unanswered questions because we don't have Donald Trump's tax returns. So he's going to be looking at that as well. He's going to be putting together the pieces of the puzzle. It's more like a jigsaw puzzle than a he said, she said.